there, and welcome to Texas Farmstead Living. I know many of you dream of owning your own family milk cow. On today's video, I'm going to share with you the most important thing you need to know before your search for the perfect family milk cow. I'm going to share my checklist for the 8 diseases that we use at our farm to test our dairy cows, and I'm going to share with you some of our strategies for biosecurity to keep our animals and our farm safe and healthy. First of all, I want to let you know that I am not a veterinarian or practice any kind of medicine. Please seek medical advice or any advice on diseases from your veterinarian. We're going to talk about 3 things that I do at my farm that I think have really helped us be successful in avoiding bovine disease. We're going to talk about the 8 diseases, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about each test. Then I'm going to give you some information on AI and vets. And thirdly, I'm going to give you some strategies to use at your farm to keep your animals safe. And I really feel passionate about knowing and being very knowledgeable about bovine diseases. I think it's very important to understand the health of your dairy animal, especially if you're going to drink raw milk. And I really want to help you have a positive experience, because having a family milk cow is such a blessing, and she will bless you every day with nutrient-dense food. So let's get started. The first thing, if you would like to go to texasfarmsteadliving.com and go to the page Farmsteading and go to Home Dairy. There you will find the 8 diseases that we test for and that we think are the most important. So that's always there, so just check that out. So the first disease we're going to talk about is TB. For the tuberculosis test, you will have an appointment with your vet, and he will come and put a little small injection under the cow's tail, and in 3 days he will come back and read the test. TB can also be detected in the milk. So if you take a milk sample in to a lab, they can also let you know. That's another way. The second disease we're going to talk about is brucellosis, also known as bangs. There is a vaccination for this disease, but we have our milk tested every year anyway, and our cow. But so it is detected in the milk, also from an ELISA test. So do a blood test, and that will pick up that disease. The third disease we're going to talk about is BVD, bovine viral diarrhea, or BVD-PI, persistent infection. So the way the vet will test your cow for that is an ear notch test. They'll send a tissue sample in to the lab. The fourth disease is Johne's. Johne's is detectable in the milk. You can run an ELISA test, which is a blood test, or you can do a PCR test with fecal. It takes several months to get for them to grow the MAP bacterium, but it is a little more in depth. But I would always start with the ELISA test for Johne's. The next test is Q fever, and that is zoonotic also, and it can pass to humans. The next test that we test for is BLV, which is bovine leukosis virus, which you can do an ELISA test, which is a blood test, but we think, always start with a blood test first on something like that, and then you can move to PCR second. The Seventh disease is Neospora, which comes from canids, which is from coyotes or dogs. And the last one is lepto. And a lot of these do pass to humans, and I really encourage you to do your own research to understand which bovine diseases are zoonotic. And there's lots of information out there, and it's readily available. So do your research. I think you will be very happy to understand all these different tests before you get a dairy cow. Another disease that is very important, and almost everyone that has dairy cows will be confronted with this at one time or another, is mastitis. So if your potential milk cow is in milk, you can use the California mastitis test to test the milk to see if there's any mastitis there, or you can send each quarter you can have those analyzed at a lab. But you want to know the mastitis history of the cow, because like Staph aureus, they really never get rid of that. That's usually a knot in their udder, and it's usually walled itself off, and it will test, negative or positive on the CMT probably forever. So those are really important things to know. And there are, we all know there's a lot of superbugs these days, and they've also affected our dairy cattle. So it's just, a good idea to know your farmer or the place that you're going to buy your dairy animal, because a lot of these illnesses, or I guess mastitis bacteria, have gotten into the soil, and they can live there for a while. So I really do hope that I've inspired you, and I really hope that, and I really care that you find a healthy dairy cow because the healthier the cow, the healthier the milk. And I really, it's very important to drink healthy milk from a healthy animal. The second thing I want to talk to you about is AI, and when you have a vet visit, or I guess any visitors to your farm. So some things we do with AI that help with avoiding transferring of diseases is our AI tech has his own boots. We bought him a pair of boots to keep at our farm, and he changes his shoes when he arrives at our farm. We also bought an AI gun that is ours, and it is sterilized between each cow. Very, very important. We also communicated to our AI guy that, that we are under biosecurity, and so he does not park near our barn or bring, use any equipment that other cattle may have been used or treated with. So the third thing on AI that we do is we send our straws to Texas A&M and have them tested for disease. That is very possible. You just have the potential, seller send the straws in, and they can test them, but not for yonis. You will need a yoni certificate in addition to the straw test. Also, anytime a vet or anyone that comes to visit our farm or our cattle, we always we have boot covers that are plastic with elastic, and we always ask them to cover their shoes before walking in areas where our cattle, either if their feed is kept in the area or if our cattle are in the area, we ask them to cover their shoes. We also, our vet, when he is working on our cattle, between each cow, he changes his gloves, any kind of sleeve that they would use for AI, any syringes. It is a sterile environment, and every cow, we completely, throw everything away and start fresh with each cow. So that is really important. Our vet is very much on board. He even changes his coveralls. And, vehicles, we keep those, away also near the barn. So some things we do for biosecurity, of course, we monitor all visitors. Several years ago, we had a state of Texas grade A raw milk dairy, and I did learn a lot of things about disease. One thing I learned that I was very surprised about is disease. You can bring disease to your farm through your feed and your hay. So if a hay field has been grazed by other cattle that have been pasture, or sometimes in the dairy industry, they will spray from the lagoon pits on the dairies, they'll spray the hay fields for fertilizer. So you really have to be careful and know your source of your hay, because like Johne's disease can live about a year in the soil. So that's just another thing and another question that you need to ask. And always know, just anything you're going to feed your cow, you should go right to the source and ask a lot of questions. We are closed herd. Also, on some of the diseases that, like Johne's, to get an accurate reading or accurate test, the animal really needs to be at least 3 years old. And there's just you really need to study each test to know all the all the information about them. Also, this is a journey, not a destination, and you will need to test yearly to maintain health in your herd. We test every May. Our cows usually calve in April, and in May we like them to be kind of at their lowest of their immune system, and so we can, if there's something there, we want to find it. But anyway, just do the best you can, and that's all you can do. Okay, we've talked about vehicles coming to your farm, and we've talked about visitors. So now let's talk about the cattle trailer that your cow will ride in. So if any other cattle have been in it, you really need to clean the trailer before your milk cow rides in it, because a lot of these diseases transfer through manure or urine. So that's another thing to think about. Now let's talk about bulls. So some things that you can do, of course, I encourage people to AI with jerseys, because Jersey bulls are so dangerous. But if you're going to borrow a bull, you want to make sure that he is tested for trichomoniasis. In a lot of states, it is a law, but you just need to check out your local, the state laws on that. But I would never borrow a bull without, a full testing. And then I probably wouldn't do that anyway, but I would, if I had to, I would designate an area in my pasture where the bull was going to be. And one thing that I've always done, I do keep Jersey bulls, but the month before we send them into breed, we test the bull. If you'll test all the cows and test your bull, now he lives separate from our cows. He lives a long way from our cattle in a high gain fence. But 1 month before he gets tested, the cows get tested before we put everyone together, and that seems to work very, very well. And this is a journey, not a destination, because it is an ongoing process. It is a thing if you're going to keep a family milk cow and you're going to drink raw milk, most definitely, you really need to test your cow yearly. Please ask me any questions. I am really into the cow disease thing. I've really done lots of research and worked on it for many years, and I have done my best to keep my herd clean. But we are just going to keep testing and being careful. So that's all you can do. But I hope I made this video because I really want to help you, and I really wish that I was so excited when I had my first milk cow. I didn't ask any questions. I just wholeheartedly went and got my milk cow, and I wish that someone had shared with me what I'm sharing with you today. So milk cows are my passion, and I am creating lots of videos about milk cows. So please check out some of the videos about milk cows, and I will be creating lots more. Please subscribe to our channel, and please give us a like. I would really appreciate it. From our Texas Hill Country Farmstead to you, have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.